What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is being ease with illness and death. How much are we suffering with our illnesses or illness of someone close to us? And how much are we suffering over and about the illnesses? And how much grief if someone close to us dies or dying? What if we could ease some of those suffering? Let's talk about the tools that can help us with losses and kind of like see what we can change. Um, Magic is everywhere and abundance is everywhere. What if we can tap into abundance and start creating it in our lives with total ease? Um, Me being a medical doctor as well as certified facilitator with access consciousness, Akashic Record teacher, consultant, and founder of School of Akashic Records, I have all of those modalities and more to kind of like help me to help other people. I do teach classes, I do facilitate classes around the world. Now with COVID, it's a little harder to travel, but I do it online. A lot of those classes come online, and of course, you're listening to the podcast. So grateful for everyone that's listening now and will be listening in the future because that's how we change our lives by not so much listening, but picking up some new tools that can help us. The way this show came about, my little kitten that I just got 3 months ago suddenly got ill, and she ended up in intensive care with blood transfusion, question of leukemia, cancer, infection, autoimmune disease, like so many different things. And I was kind of like facing my fears, facing a lot of old wounds because recently I lost my mom and I also went through the same thing with my dog. So and there were a lot of other losses and deaths and illnesses, including my own. So I've decided to look at how we deal with illness, with death, and pretty much our human side. Because, yeah, we can talk about death is just a transition, illness is something we're learning from. All of that is not helping us to deal with all of that. Because no matter how many tools I had, when I found out that Bella, that's the name of my kitty, and you probably saw her on some of the shows because she is a racket. So with her, it you kind of like she's just a ball of joy, and seeing her kind of like sad and quiet and not running around and just being there was painful. No matter how many tools you have, you still, when you're seeing someone suffer, there is an empathy, there is a sympathy, there is all of that coming in because this is part of our um, human existence, humanoid existence. It's life. But what can actually make it easier to deal with? When I was going with all of that with my mom, um, luckily Bella actually might recover because they found out that she's starting to produce some bone marrow and hopefully it was some sort of infection that caused all of that. But there was a question of euthanasia. But let's talk about people, because I went with my mom over the years. She was suffering, she was in severe pain, and I wouldn't let her go because I needed my mom in physical world. Even that, being as old as I am, it's still a loss, no matter how you look at that. So how did I deal with that? And the same tools apply with Bella, same with anybody or anything, or even my own illness. I ask, first of all, I ask for questions. What is that? What do I do with it? And can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it? That's where the thing comes in, because sometimes we can change. We can change things. We can um, be a contribution to people, and we can allow like certain tools to change um, because we choose that. And yet there are things we cannot change. Like with my mom, I was asking what contribution can I be? I was doing body processes, and it's amazing. I'm a Reiki Master, and I'm also 3-day body facilitator with Access Consciousness. And body processes are hands-on, um, pretty much transformational process that allows body to release whatever it needs to release if the person chooses it. So I knew that I cannot change people's minds or animal mind. Uh, it's whatever they choose. It's about being in total allowance. But how can you be in total allowance if you miss them? If you actually would like to have their warm body next to you? Um, and that's a part where we actually look at our own agendas, our own points of view. Why are we keeping those people with us? Is it because it's for the highest good of them or us, or is it because we're selfish? And nothing wrong with being selfish, as long as you actually identify that. If you look honestly at what's in front of you, because if you say, oh, I want to help them, I want to uh, cure them, I'm going to heal them, without asking questions, you're actually not doing them service, and you're not doing you a service. Because a lot of times when we're doing it unconsciously, we will take on their disease, not necessarily death, but maybe their suffering, because they've created it for some reason. And it's hard to say what reason was that. It was more about maybe they are not satisfied with the life they have and they're done. Maybe they're done, completely done with this lifetime, and they're ready to move, because death is a transformation. It's moving from one state, being in the body, into another state of being without the body, and then maybe choosing another body. A lot of times people just choose, and we all choose that. Not always cognitive and not always conscious. Why I separate those things? Because cognitive and conscious. Because cognitive is just our mind. And our mind, logical mind, is a lot of times stupid. Conscious is when we are aware. And when we choose based on awareness, can be cognitive, but doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's just energetic. With unconscious, it can be cognitive, but unconscious, not being aware. We can consciously desire to live, to be with our loved ones, or desire for somebody else to stay with us. It might be cognitive, but unconsciously, we might be willing to die. And unless we start asking questions, and being in a question is not looking for answer, one answer. It's about looking for awareness. So when we are in a conclusion, okay, they're dying, they're sick, nothing can come in into the universe. If we are asking questions, what else is possible? How can we change that? The universe can answer in the weirdest ways. I know with Bella, right now it shows up that she might be recovering and she might not. It all will be her choice. I had to work a lot on allowance because I love her. I want her to be with me. And she's so young. I mean, cognitively, there is all those reasons and justifications about why she should be alive. And by asking question, what else is possible? What can we create? What we can choose different with all of that? It's about creating opening for the universe to change things. And sometimes you'll find, let's say, with those 4 questions that I started with, what is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And sometimes you get, you cannot. What do you do then? That's when you start working on allowance of letting them go or being sick. Because sometimes it's not about even dying. It can be somebody is suffering, but they're choosing to create that illness for some reason. And you're like, but you can take this, you can change this lifestyle, you can stop smoking, you can stop drinking, you can do this, you can take that supplement, you can take that drug. And they're like, nope, don't believe in that. Nope, don't need to do that. Yeah, it's their choice. So when we start, and especially if we push them to change, guess what? They resist and react. They might align and agree for some period of time, but mostly they will resist and react and do the opposite. Think of it. When somebody tells you what to do, what do you do? At least me, I do the opposite. Doesn't matter. Now it's different, but before it was definitely 100% resistance and reaction or alignment and agreeing. So with all of that, what if you actually being in total allowance of their choice? What if they choose to suffer? Okay, I'll be there for you. You can suffer as much as you'd like, and I will be just there contributing. How much ease would that be for you? And it's time for our first break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about death, dying, illness, and how we can deal with that, with ours, with other people. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is being ease with illness and death. When you talk to people about illness and death, there is always a reaction. People, animal doesn't matter, because animals are just part of our family in some ways for a lot of people. So it doesn't matter. We're talking about anybody and anything that's in your life that's maybe sick right now, maybe dying, maybe not, maybe recovering, all of that to create ease in your life, in the life of people who are suffering. We started talking about allowance, and it's interesting because it's not an acceptance of what they're choosing, it's allowance of their choices. There is a huge difference. Acceptance is like, okay, I'll suffer, I'll be abused, I will kind of like, okay, I'm not doing anything, but I will be a nice person. That's acceptance. That's not acceptable, let's put it this way. And um, yes, I'm playing on the words. So allowance is more like, okay, you can choose that, but I don't have to suffer with your choices. That's where there is a huge difference. And whatever it looks like for you, it's up to you. Sometimes it could be avoidance, and you are pretty much, it's your choice. And a lot of times we start judging ourselves. There is a wonderful telecall that Dr. Dane here doing right now. You're not as F up as you think you are. So yeah, you're not wrong in anything, whatever you're choosing. You're not wrong if you're choosing illness. You're not wrong if you're avoiding people who are ill. It's not wrong if you're choosing death, and it's not wrong if you're supporting and in acceptance of somebody choosing death, or resisting and reacting, not allowing them to die, because we are very powerful, energetic beings. A lot of times, people are staying much, people, animals, staying much longer than they need to, because they already chose to go. But because the loved ones not letting them go, and a lot of times it's energetic, they are staying and suffering. What if we choose something different? What if you chose to have ease with whatever they're choosing? One of the tools that Access has, and I would highly recommend that, couple actually. One of them is all of life comes to me or comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And that is a tool that is creating pretty much, it doesn't mean everything will be easy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that um, you you or somebody will not get sick, because this is about choices that we made maybe trillions of years ago, maybe previous lifetime, or maybe 5 minutes ago. or maybe 10 years ago. Because a lot of illnesses or disease or even dying comes from our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, our points of view. Our point of view create our reality. So guess what? If if you created this, not if you did create that, and they created it, think how powerful of a creator you are. And you're like, I don't create death, I don't create illness. This is not how I'd like to operate. Of course not. But that's when I was talking about the unconscious creation, sometimes even anti conscious creation, meaning that we're going against our consciousness. Totally. One of the ways how we create the stuff is, oh, this is so hard. I don't want to live like that. Guess what? As soon as you say that, as soon as you think that, the body starts creating it, some sort of illness that eventually will kill you. That thought, that feeling, that emotion might have been years ago. You might have been in a marriage that, or you might still be in a marriage that's suffocating, that abusive. And unless you change the circumstances, the body doesn't have a choice but to continue on that path of creating, getting you out of there. With my mom, it was very interesting because she was in an abusive relationship for 30 years. And instead of divorce, she chose death. And we were talking about that on a number of occasions. And I remember her clearly making that conscious choice, not cognitive, but conscious choice. We were talking about divorce, and she's like, I cannot. I'm going back. And I knew that she was choosing death in that moment because that was easier option for her. For how many of you death is the easier option than to live with certain conditions, certain relationships, certain jobs, certain circumstances? Are you willing to let go of that? Are you willing to be the change that's required for you to get healthy or allow other people to choose something different? What if it was just that? A conscious cognitive choice. I'm going to change and I'm going to choose something different instead of illness, instead of death. And what if choosing death and illness is not a wrongness? What if it's something that creates greater for you? Just ask questions. What is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it? So, with all of that, it's pretty much changing whatever you are here choosing. It's about being open to possibilities that everything can be changed. Think about it. Everything in the world, there is no solidity. There is no solid objects. Yeah, they look solid, they feel solid. But guess what? Everything is made from atoms and molecules, electrons, and all of those are actually energies vibrating at the different frequencies. We're just space, and we are the consciousness that binds everything together. I remember Mark Twain wrote amazing novel, Mysterious Stranger. And in there, like I think it was at the end where he takes the kid, um, in the book, I think he's called Devil, but he takes the kid in the stratosphere and kind of like allows him, like in a space, and allows him to look at Earth, at his life, at everything around him. And he's like, you've created all of this. This is based on your imagination. There is nothing real. I read it as a kid. I think I was 10, maybe 11. And that felt so true. And I'm like, yeah, we all create all of that. So if we look at illness and death as just another game that we're playing, that this life is just another virtual vibrational reality, how much ease would that create in your life? And by the way, don't believe me. Don't believe anything I say. That's the first thing I tell people when they come to my classes. Because you know everything about your life. Tool that I'm going to introduce you, it's kind of a joke about it. It's a new tool, but in reality, it's been around for ages and forever. Light and heavy. Whatever is true will make you feel light, expanded, kind of like this. And whatever is a lie will feel heavy and contracted. When I talk about illness and death, a lot of times people will feel heavy, sad. What if death and illness is a lie? And it is. We can change that at will if we choose it, not for somebody else. We can ask them to choose something different, and that's up to them to choose. And again, unless they choose something different in their lives, that's where it's almost like the trajectory, a tracks. The train is on certain tracks. Unless you change the tracks, you cannot change where you're going. So if people are on the tracks to die, the only way they can choose something different if it change tracks. Let's say they change job, they leave the relationship, or they create a relationship, or they change the relationship the way it works for them. I'm not talking about if it doesn't work, just get divorced. No, everybody has their own choice. And even divorce can be easy. And even change tracks can be something that you might not even imagine. It's about asking the universe or God or divine, whatever it like you believe in. And if I offend any religion, I apologize. I'm sorry, maybe not so sorry. But it's about choosing for you. No matter what you believe in, you can ask that deity, that universe, whatever, to support you in that. Not so much help, because if we ask for help, we're making ourselves small. And that is never going to work because we are much bigger than we think we are. We are enormous. And it's time for our second break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will do expansion exercise, which I love to do because it creates much more in our lives. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time. This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is being ease with illness and death. Before I go to our topic, I would like just to do a little commercial for my classes. And as I said, I facilitate those tools of access consciousness and Akashic Records around the world, online, live at this moment in Buffalo Grove, Illinois, which is near Chicago, but also anywhere where the countries are open or in the States, as I live in the States. So the next couple of classes that's coming up will be a 3-day body class, which is coming up in Buffalo Grove, February 5th through 7th, and bars class on February 23rd. There's going to be a foundation class coming up, as well as 1-day Being You adventure that's coming up, 2 classes in March. Both of them are online. So in those classes, you will learn the tools of access, and especially in the body class, you will learn a lot of hands-on things that can unlock the illness and even death. One of them is exit stage left for people who are sick and dying. And I would like to do that because exit stage left is a body process, but it's also a clearing. It allows people to choose. They can either die or get better. It kind of like stops them from lingering and suffering. So my invitation to you right now, think of anybody who is in a terminal condition or living the life of pain and suffering. Just think of them and ask them. All the exit stage left systems and whatever Gary and Dane says, would you now destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pack and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And I'm using clearing statement, which is access consciousness kind of magic wand that allows to clear that. And so that clearing allowed people to choose. And you might need to do a few times, and you can do just whatever Helen said on that radio show, or whatever Gary and Dane, the founders of Access, saying with exit stage left. So we are very powerful. As I said, even before you came into this body, you're infinite being. And I can tell you that you're infinite being till I'm blue in the face, and you wouldn't believe me until you experience that. So that's why on the show, I'd like to kind of like show you what are you in reality. So if you're at home sitting and listening, if you are just walking somewhere, or if you're laying down, doesn't matter. The only time don't close your eyes if you're driving or operating heavy machinery, kind of like a little warning that not a good idea to close your eyes for extended period of time if you're on the road and other cars are there. So just, you can close your eyes, you can keep them open. Feel yourself if you're sitting on a chair, on a bed. Feel your feet firmly grounded on the floor and take a deep breath. Fill your lungs with the air. Just allow yourself to be present with your body. And just see where you are. Where are the edges of you? Not the body's edges, not your skin, but where is the edge of your consciousness? And please, please, please drop your barriers. Allow yourself to be totally open to infinite possibilities of everything, of magic, miracles, mysteries, possibilities, of everything that life has to offer. And now see if you can feel the walls of that room that you're sitting in, if you're inside, and just expand beyond that in all directions, 360 degrees, like a sphere. It's actually more than 360 degrees because 360 degrees is just a circle. You want to be a sphere that expands in all directions. And I'm pretty sure you're faster than that. And when I said expand, you probably expanded all the way out. So I like to go a little stages so you can kind of like be present with what and who you are. So expand maybe a mile or kilometer, wherever you are listening. 10 miles, 10 kilometers, 1,000 miles, 1,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles, 10,000 kilometers, 100 miles, 100,000 kilometers. And just make yourself bigger than Earth and the moon together. And from that space, kind of like sense Earth, sense our planet, sense our everybody, and sense the moon and include the moon. Embrace the moon, including the dark side as a source of infinite possibilities as and of the future. Just be present with that. Everything. Good, bad, and ugly, light, dark, everything. And in that moment, notice how much power you are. And ask, what contribution can I be today to the planet, to the world, to the universe, to my body? Being that space and that power, how much can you change in your body? The question is, will you? Will you change it? Because you have the power. You can see you're infinite. And you can, by the way, expand even more, expand into infinity, pretty much as big as the universe, multiverse, all the way out. And you have all that space, all that power inside of you. You can change everything at will instantly. Just rearrange a few molecules. Just ask the molecules to rearrange itself. Just a few, probably just a spark. And let's do that. Let's bring our attention into the body and see if there is any atom, any molecule that's ready to flip the polarity. And just like, just a little, and just flip it and expand that throughout the universe. It can look like a spark. It can look like maybe a light, a color. It doesn't have to look like anything. Thank you. It feels much better. It feels much lighter. Guess what? If it's light, it's true. And you can go as many times inside your body and just flip those molecules and see what that will change. The only thing you should not have any point of view about it. That's where allowance comes in. Because if you have a point of view, you have to change something, it's not going to change. If you ask to change it with no point of view if it changes or not, that's when it changes. Um, with Bella, I was doing a lot of body processes on distantly, and I was kind of like playing with her, but I had a point of view. I needed her in my life. And only last night, I finally was like, wait, whatever you choose is okay, but I would like to have you in my life. And that allowed her to change things today. Because she chose, it's like, okay, you want me here? Fine, I'll play. I'll play more. So just allow yourself to be present with that. How much investment do you have in the outcome of whatever you desire? If you have investment in there, it's not going to change much. And clearing statement, you can go to the website, theclearingstatement.com, and it explains how it works, what to do it. But you can just use POC and POD, which is point of creation, point of destruction, as a means to clear anything that's stuck. And if you have any points of view, you can just POC and POD them or use interesting point of view. I have this interesting point of view. And especially if it's about somebody else. With you choosing for you, you can change at will if you choose it. And please, please, please don't go into wrongness of you that you didn't, or you don't, or it will not change. Things that we've created have so many layers, and some of them already have physical manifestations, which sometimes takes time to unravel. And yet we can do everything instantly. But in this reality, with all our points of view, we still live in a linear time. If you kind of step out of it and be in totally different reality, yeah, you can accomplish everything instantly. And I invite you to that. Be the magic, mysteries, possibilities. Be that energy, space, and consciousness that changes instantly. And if it doesn't, just be aware that you might have some points of view about linear time. And it might take time. It might take a minute. It might take a day. It might take a year to undo all of that. This is about a choice. But please, if things don't change instantly, don't get discouraged. Just ask, what will it take to change faster? Don't be that farmer that planted potatoes in the evening and in the morning trying to see if the potato grew and tries to pull the new plants. No, because just allow it to flourish, allow it to grow. And this is time for our third and final break of the show. We have just a little bit more time left. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat or send it to me for the next show. What would you like to hear? And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, Join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is being ease with illness and death. We've talked a lot about the tools of access, tools, how you can shift and change. I'd like to talk a little bit about forgiveness as much, because a lot of times illnesses and death, I kind of like put them together because illness a lot of times leads to death, and sometimes we choose not to die and then we get better. So a lot of times we made ourselves wrong. First of all, for something, and that's how we created our illness, made somebody wrong, and that's how we created the illness. Or if we have the illness, we make ourselves wrong for being sick, or people made us wrong for being sick. So there is so much of that guilt, shame, blame, regret. A lot of it is not cognitive, because a lot of things I'm talking about is energetic and it's not cognitive. So this is about where we can use a lot of forgiveness, that we can look at who we are not forgiving, who we are not allowing ourselves to forgive. This is about just being present with what is. I'm just going to read the prayer, because people say, okay, forgive and forget. That doesn't work. This is more about actually allowing the energy of forgiveness to pass through you. I love that prayer because it changed a lot for me, for a lot of people. So I'm going to read it aloud. I allow the forgiveness of the universe to flow through me, to cleanse me from anything that I have done, been, seen, heard, to anyone or anything, consciously or unconsciously, in any time, space, dimension, or reality. I allow the forgiveness of the universe to flow, to cleanse me from anything that I have experienced that was done, been, seen, and heard to me by anyone or anything, consciously or unconsciously, in any time, space, dimension, or reality. I allow the forgiveness of the universe to flow through me, to cleanse me from anything I have done, been, seen, and heard to me, by me, consciously or unconsciously, in any time, space, dimension, or reality. This is about choosing to cleanse our body, our being, from all those energies that are not helping us. A lot of times, just by reading that prayer, you can shift a lot of energies of illness. And you can also, again, go to the beginning, the tool of this week, the 4 questions. What is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it? We have only very little time, so I would like to also play with the mantra. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. One of the recommendations is, like, it used to be 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. And I know when I don't say it 10 times in the morning, I definitely can feel by the midday. But now recommendation is 100 times a day. It's just as many times as you choose to do that prayer. To do that mantra, because that mantra is also includes forgiveness. It includes everything, because it's about having ease with everything, including disease, including illness, including death. So when you're dealing with all of that, Just see how that will change your perspective. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. And we have just a few more minutes left. I just want to remind you how to find me. And for people who are listening, I have a gift on my website that you can download. That's the expansion exercise, and it kind of signs you up for the newsletter. And you can always unsubscribe if you choose to. It's not obligatory, but the gift is yours to keep. This is just the ease to create more in your life. Because if you do the expansion exercise, it shows you how powerful you are. But it also has another side to it. Because when we start changing the polarity of the molecule, it actually starts create ease in the body. And a lot of illnesses could actually reverse itself. My challenge to you is to do the expansion exercise or listen to it and do it at least once a day for the next 30 to 60 days and see if it changes anything. And if you can email me at helen.g@att.net if you actually experience any changes with the expansion exercise. I would really appreciate comments and just to know how you're doing with all the tools that I'm using on the podcast. I would like to keep in touch. And you can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, under Helen Gitlevich, Creating Abundance with Ease. I have both business pages and I think Instagram, my personal. So just be in touch with me. Love to hear how you're doing, how everything is, and how you're dealing with death and illnesses in your life. Because if there are other tools, I'm open to hear. And again, I have a few classes coming up. You're welcome to join me. I will be back next week with another show with the name of Worth Living. It's about finding the spark that keeps you here in this world, in this body. Let's see what we can explore and find out about that topic, because that's kind of like on my mind as well. Because if we don't have any spark, any kind of like desire, that also can create illness and death. So let's choose something greater. Let's choose being all of us. Let's create beyond this reality. Because as I said, life is just another virtual reality that we created based on our points of view. What if we let go of the points of view and create exactly what we desire instead of our fears, our resistance and reactions to things? What if we can be all of us? And if you want to find out about more of Being You Adventures, you can go on the website, beingyouadventures.com, I think, or on my website, you will see classes as well. So grateful you could join me. And I hope to see you someday in person or at least on those podcasts that I'm doing, podcast, radio show, movies, videos, you call it. I'm not sure how to call it. See you later. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.